All right, so if you're living in or around Frankston, Texas, and you're thinking about getting some training for your dog, this is for you. We're going to talk all about finding a great local trainer, someone who really gets what it's like for a dog living right here in East Texas. Having a dog that's well behaved really opens up your world here. Think about it: heading down to the lake, visiting friends, just taking a peaceful walk downtown. Good training is the key that makes all of that stuff relaxing and genuinely fun, not just for you, but for your dog too. Okay, so first up, what does training for life in Frankston actually look like? Because, the skills your dog needs in a small Texas town are definitely a little different from what they'd need in a big city. This quote pretty much says it all, right? A dog here in Frankston has to be adaptable. They need to be just as comfortable on a quiet walk by the water as they are when things get a little hectic at the boat ramps on a Saturday afternoon. So we're talking about real-world skills for your actual life. Stuff like walking calmly past someone who's fishing, being polite around all the campers and RVs, and, this is a big one, coming back to you every single time, even with all those amazing smells down by the lake trying to distract them. All right, so we know why we're training. Now let's talk about how. You've got a couple of different ways you can approach this. Basically, your two main choices are going to be in-home training or group classes. Private in-home training is fantastic for tackling issues that happen at home, like barking at the doorbell. It's also really good for dogs that get a little overwhelmed or anxious in new places. Then you've got group classes. These are awesome for socialization and for teaching your dog to focus on you, even when there are other dogs around. Now, let's talk about the method. Most modern, effective, and just kind trainers use what's called positive reinforcement. All it means is that they focus on rewarding the behaviors you want to see. This makes learning fun for your dog, it builds up their confidence, and honestly, it just makes your relationship with them so much stronger. And hey, people seek out training for all kinds of reasons, right? Maybe it's for the basics: sit, stay, come. Or maybe you've got a new puppy and need help with house training and getting them used to the world. Or it could be for more complex things, like helping a dog who's fearful or a little reactive. Okay, let's get down to it. How do you actually find a really good professional trainer in the Frankston area? Here's a really useful tip. Look for professional certifications. You see, the dog training industry in Texas isn't regulated, which means anyone can call themselves a trainer. So the really dedicated pros go out and get these credentials. It's their way of showing you that they're serious about their education and they're up to date on modern, effective methods. So here are a few of the big ones you might run across. Seeing any of these letters after a trainer's name is a really good sign. It means they've passed some tough exams and they have to keep up with their education to stay certified. All right, so you've found a few people with good credentials. Now what? Well, the next step is to actually talk to them and figure out if they're the right fit for you and your dog. Here's a quick checklist of questions to ask. First, just ask about their methods and philosophy. Make sure it feels right to you. Second, ask how they're going to customize a plan specifically for your dog. You don't want a cookie-cutter approach. Third, get all the pricing details up front, including any travel fees if they're coming to you. And last, ask if they do some kind of initial consultation before you have to commit to a whole package. Okay, let's talk money. What should you expect to pay for training? The costs can definitely vary, so it's good to have a general idea of the price ranges. So, here's a look at some of the typical costs for different services around the Frankston area. As you can see, group classes are usually the most budget-friendly option. On the other end, you have board and train programs. That's where your dog actually goes to live with the trainer for a few weeks, and that's obviously a much bigger investment. Just to give you a solid number to think about, a single private lesson will probably land somewhere in this range. This can be a really great way to tackle one specific problem without signing up for a big package. Oh, and definitely remember to ask if travel fees are baked into that price or if that's extra. So, once you start with a trainer, a lot of the real progress happens when you're practicing on your own time. So let's talk about where you can do that and what local rules you need to know about. The rules around town are pretty straightforward. Nothing too surprising. You've got to keep your dog on a leash in public areas. Texas state law requires that their rabies vaccination is up to date and, just be a good neighbor. Be considerate about barking, especially if you're at an RV park or a campsite. Now, when it comes to practicing, the trick is to start easy. Begin somewhere with very few distractions so your dog can really succeed. Then, as they get better and more confident, you can slowly start moving to places with a little more going on. And we've got some great local spots for that. You can start on any quiet residential street near the lake. When you're ready for a bigger challenge, Tyler State Park is great. Lots of trails, more people. Purtis Creek can be a nice, quieter park option. And if you really want to work on recall, the Neches River National Wildlife Refuge is perfect for practicing around tons of interesting new smells. You know, all the work you put into training isn't just about fixing problems, it's about building this amazing partnership with your dog. It's what allows both of you to go out and enjoy everything Frankston has to offer, but with confidence and without stress. A well-trained dog just makes every part of life better, at home, around town, on every walk, and every trip down to the lake. Good luck with everything.